MAT1033 Final Exam Review Question 17. We are to solve the equation. Got x squared minus 6x plus 3 okay, and we will solve this using completing the square. Doesn't tell us we have to use completing the square, but I think it would be nice to have some extra practice. So let's see. We have it in standard form. We need to subtract 3 from both sides. Then we are going to complete this square to make it a trinomial square. And that would be adding 1/2 times b over a quantity squared to both sides. So what I'm going to put here is plus 1/2 times, now b, this is a, right here, a is 1, b is -6, and remember we only identify those once it's in standard form and c is 3. So I'm going to take 1/2 times b over a, -6 over 1 squared, and I'm going to add that to both sides. So I'm going to also add it over here. So I'm going to be adding this to both sides. Half of 6 is 3. Well, half of -6 is -3, so that's -3 squared, which gives us 9. So I've got x squared minus 6x plus 9. I'm adding this value to both sides, and remember I want to add it to both sides, so I'm going to also add it over here. Okay, so we factor the left-hand side, simplify the right, that's 6. This should factor into identical factors, which is what we do when completing the square. Now I can write this as a square, x minus 3 quantity squared, and that equals 6. Once we get it in this form, we can use the square root method. Take the square root of both sides. X minus 3 is equal to, don't forget that's plus minus when you take an even root of both sides. So x minus 3 equals plus or minus square root of 6. We want to isolate x. We do that by adding 3 to both sides, and because there's 2 separate values here, I'm going to put it in the front of the plus minus. So I've got x is equal to 3 plus or minus square root of 6. I think these are the solutions. So the solution set would contain 3 minus square root of 6 and 3 plus square root of 6. And we would verify that by plugging them in and checking the equation.